Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John Woolley, content creator for the Instagram page Make Pods Great Again. Welcome back, everyone. Nikki's finally back on the show. Nikki, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Hanging in. How about you?
I'm good. I had an episode without you last night, and I was totally lost. I had to ask questions and talk to someone, and it was a big pain in my ass, like from end to end.
Oh,
I don't like
I'm
being the talent.
sorry.
I don't like it. I don't like it at
No?
all. No.
You're good at it,
I
though.
know. Well, today, though, we have a special guest that you'll get to show how smart you are because I'll just say
Okay.
all my same dumb shit. We got Danny Lehr from Caffeine and Kilos on, and his accomplishments are so long on this list, I just can't even read them all. So we'll just get into it on the podcast. Danny, how are you?
I'm good. Obviously, someone else made that list for me then. That's the case.
Well, it's on your About Me on your website. So I don't,
there we go. Yeah.
I don't know who made it for you, but it's like I was scrolling through this thing earlier. I'm like, Jesus, I feel like a real underachiever in my life all of a sudden, particularly in fitness.
Maybe I should have done something with my life. Fuck.
That gets me crazy.
I know. No, it's great. So you're out in California, right?
I am. Yep. I am around Sacramento, California.
How's the weather out there? Nikki's got her
I got
little
my ear warmers on.
ear warmers on that she knitted. She looks all cute.
Today, it's really fucking windy. That's why I'm in my garage, actually. Instead of like outside. But the temperature-wise, pretty nice. It's like mid-60s or so.
Oh,
Yep.
nice. Every winter that rolls around here in New England, I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we here?
Why do I live where the wind hurts my face?
It's so bad. I don't know what's up. And we get to this point every year and everyone's like, mild winter we've been having, right? And I'm like, did you fucking forget about like February and March? Like, it's gonna be winter here until June 1st. Please don't forget. Nobody moved to New England.
So are you originally from California?
Yeah, so I actually live now, not in the exact same town I grew up in, but within a couple miles.
Okay. I want to make sure because Nikki hates Canadians and we always want to go in right at the very beginning to make sure you're not Canadian. Then she just says some horrible
Otherwise, you hear me drop off.
Canadians? Why do you hate Canadians?
Isn't that the $1 million question?
It really is.
Because I have had nothing but positive experiences. One time I heard
Me too, Danny.
is that why you hate them? You're like, these motherfuckers are so nice.
You're spreading rumors, John. Look at what's happening.
One time I heard a Canadian get really bad road rage and start yelling and cursing at another Canadian. And then I realized that the reason why he was yelling is he was upset that the other guy didn't stop soon enough for somebody else. And so he was actually yelling at the guy for not being nice enough.
Oh.
Wow. That's the most Canadian argument I've ever heard.
That's what I realized. Yeah, at first I'm like, man, this guy's really upset. This is totally not, in line with my other experiences. And then I realized that he was yelling because the guy still stopped for somebody to cross, but he didn't stop soon enough. And so this guy on a motorcycle was letting him have it.
Oh,
He's like, shouldn't you fucking see that guy? I'm like, man, he stopped. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn.
There you go.
I think Nikki and I are going to take the show on the road to a Canadian sanctional at some point to make it up to the entire country of Canada.
Good Lord.
So-
All 7 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have quite a few.
No, I meant 7 people.
Oh, well, that too.
Pretty sparsely
All 7
populated.
Canadians.
They're just going to alternate who the national champion is between the 7 of them.
Just go down the list. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, you can have it. No, sorry, you can have it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Danny, let's talk about you, man. So you've been doing a lot of stuff in the community. Now, I had, prior to getting introduced to you, it was pretty familiar with your brand, Caffeine and Kilos. I mean, you guys are kind of the shit.
Kind of OG in the CrossFit brand world, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we started in 2013. I have a CrossFit affiliate. I have a gym that we've been around since 2008.
It's awesome.
And then one of my co-founders with Caffeine and Kilos actually has a CrossFit gym, and they've been open, I think, since 2010. So we had been in the CrossFit space for a while, in the Olympic weightlifting space for a while. And so that's the thing where it really was like a grassroots thing, kind of out of nowhere. We've never taken on any investments or anything. It's all just been completely bootstrapped. And we actually started because we wanted to host a competition. And so
I remember that.
Yeah, the Caffeine and Kilos invite, which
That's
we still
right.
do.
Yes.
We still do it. But in 2013, that was the whole idea. It's like, we're just going to host this competition because there was no money in weightlifting. And there still really isn't much, but there's some at least. And so we said, well, if we host this meet and give out cash prizes, we can get the best lifters in the country to come lift at this thing. And then we'll do a CrossFit style competition as well. And that way we can get an audience for these weightlifters and kind of bring the community together. And then that basically turned into Caffeine and Kilos, the company. There's just
I think that's huge, so cool.
Yeah, this huge like groundswell support, and we got, you know, a bunch of people came out, and we got really good lifters. We had a couple Olympians actually came out and lifted in it, and it was just really good for the community and just resonated with people. And so that's kind of how it started. So it really did kind of start, you know, pretty early on, and just from people in the community and in the local CrossFit gyms in this area, and then weightlifters from all over the nation, and then it just took off.
It's so cool. I think that, like, I remember back, because I started CrossFit back in 2010, 2011. Mm-hmm. Yep. And, you know, back in the day, like there were no brands in the space. Like there were no organizations that represented who we are as a community with anything, not with words or with clothing or with logos or websites or anything like that. Like it was just a bunch of people figuring out how to work out. And as we built this community, we like wanted, we like yearned for that. I mean, CrossFitters love gear, obviously it is what it is. We're just like a certain breed, but like, you know, back in the day before there was any shoe, quote unquote, made for CrossFit, or like socks made for CrossFit, anything like that.
Pre-Bach.
Yeah, Pre-Bach is right. It's a time before Reebok, BR. You know, when we were like, I remember my first pair of Innovates. It was like the closest thing that anyone could to like a decent training shoe. Yeah, exactly. And I just remember like yearning for something that I could wear or represent, or a community of people I could align with, that I could, you know, be like, hey, this is what we do. This is what we do in the gym. This is what we do in life. This is what we wear. This is how we talk. This is how, so it's cool that you were able to start providing that to people, you know, with an event specifically, to be like, hey, come together in life. Yeah. Let's do our thing together. And like, you know, let's build a brand around how people like interact with each other, and physically build a community as well.
And that was a big part of it, is what you mentioned, as far as like apparel and things to wear and do and whatnot. Yeah. And at the time, there were a few companies that were kind of making some shirts or trying to sell shirts to CrossFitters and that type of thing. But they just didn't really resonate with us. And we're like, well, if they don't resonate with us, I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. Or maybe it was a shirt. I owned a couple, but it's like, I would wear it to the gym, but I would never wear it outside the gym.
Totally.
Right? Like that type of thing. And so they're either like, you know, like kitschy sayings on them, or like, you know, various puns or whatever, which is
so
fine.
Much bacon. Like everything was about bacon.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, or I was like, example I always give is something like, if you like my grandma's cookies, you used to see her snatch or something.
Totally.
And like, you know, has an old lady lifting a barbell. Right. And so that's fine. And that's great if you're into that, but like, I'm not going to wear that to my niece's birthday party.
Right.
Or I'm
exactly.
not going to wear that around town. Right. And so that was the idea, is like, well, what if we actually made apparel that like fits good and you feel good in, like it looks good, and you could wear it outside the gym and in the gym, right? So you could wear it to dinner, you could wear it to your niece's birthday party, you could wear it around, and still kind of represent like that fitness, represent the lifestyle that you like, and not feel like a fucking douchebag everywhere you go.
I think overall, and this is me putting on my marketing hat, because I do work in marketing and advertising full time. I think that we've evolved a lot as a community, as the CrossFit brand and the brands within it, right? So we sort of went through this evolution of like, we were known for loud, crazy colors and insane patterns, and you would mix match everything. That's just kind of like who we were. And some brands are still relying on that, and some do really well with that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I have plenty of like totally wrong with that.
Yeah, no. And I have a lot of that as well. But what's cool is that we've also, now we're coming sort of like back down the bell curve, where we're looking for a more sophisticated look. We're looking to align with simpler, cleaner aesthetics. Yeah. And you guys have sort of had that from the beginning and sort of maintained that this entire time, which I like. You've been like, yeah, well, you know, while everyone's going to do their own thing, we've kind of got this tried and true thing that works for us. We're going to stick with it. And I appreciate that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and that's Dean, my business partner, Dean. I'm one of the co-founders. That was him the whole ways. He's always really been into streetwear and that type of thing. And so that's really kind of what it is essentially we make like streetwear apparel, but that resonates with people in fitness. Yeah. Right. And so it's, that's really kind of where the apparel comes from, and the big influence, like old skate brands and that.
Yeah, totally.
And so and then it turns out that's what a lot of people are into, right? That's the kind of the message, is make the stuff that you like, and probably other people are going to like it too.
And as long as it fits huge biceps and tiny calves, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I guess some people got some decent calves. You know,
John has great calves.
You got good calves, John?
I do not have great calves.
Pop one of those things up on the screen. Let me see that bad.
Just like kick a leg up.
Just kick a leg up.
I'm very flexy, but I'm not doing that.
I taught PE for 8 years, and when I was teaching for 5 of those years or 4 of those years, one of the schools I was at had this principal, and he was really into his calves. Right? Like what? I'm serious.
Oh, no, that's not like that's not like a
thing to be into it. Oh yeah.
Really? So, I've never described anyone like this. Like nice guy, makes a mean, like, you know, grills a mean steak, really into his calves.
Yeah, like he would show them to people.
What? I'm creeped out by that.
In a class one time, we were like doing bench, and he walks in and he's, you know, whatever, talks to some kid. And I was like, we got to show him. And so like he laid down and does some bench press, and all the kids are clapping. They're all pumped up. This is the principal, you know? And then he sits up, he goes, you guys think that's good? Wait till you see this. And pops one of his legs, Captain Morgan style, up on the bench, and then pulls up his pant leg and starts flexing his calf. And I was like, holy shit, this is
and did nobody clap?
They were like, everyone's confused. It was like mass confusion. The kids were like,
what's happening?
Yeah. And then he said, if you think that's good, wait till you see the better one. And then he went and then he put the other leg up there. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's got what he feels is a better calf, you know? It was, yeah, that's a true story. That's, yeah.
Can you imagine this guy on Tinder? It'd be like dick pics, but calves.
Oh my God.
He'd just spam you with calf pics. That's all it would be.
He would do the move too, where he'd like go to show me something on his phone, like, oh, let me show you a picture of this, you know, whatever. I was hiking last weekend or wherever the fuck's going. And he'd like start scrolling through his phone, and then there's like a picture of like a flexed bicep. And he like pauses on it a split second longer and then keeps going. And so then I couldn't help it. I'd be like, wait, was that you? And so
no, you didn't play into it.
How do you not encourage this? So you go back to it.
Worst kind of person.
And then I was like, is that you? He goes, yeah, pretty good for an old man. Like, yeah, you know who would love to see that? It's Coach Mitchell. And you're like, you think so? Like, you got to go show him right now. And so then I'm like, yeah, send him off to other teachers to go show these pictures of himself.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody cares about these stories other than me, but I thought.
No, I'm so into it.
I feel like I want to start doing this. I want to start doing this to people. You know, hey, let me show you my calf pics. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Just to see the confused look on their face.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a real thing.
Oh
so I can't. I gotta wrap my head around the fact that you were a gym teacher for 8 years, 7 years.
Yeah, taught PE for 8 years.
On top of everything else that you've done, I mean, the list of accolades in your athletic background is like insane.
Well, that's kind of why I quit teaching. So actually, I loved teaching. I had a really good time. I thought I was going to do it for 40 years, and I was great with that. But then, and I was doing the gym at the same time, and I had some business partners there, and that was fine. And then when Caffeine and Kilos started, again, is I don't want to say an accident, but the plan was to do this one event, and then it kind of turned into a whole business over the course of a couple of weeks. And so I taught for a full time for a year after that started, and then it was obvious this was just not going to work. And so then I actually went part-time teaching for 1 year, just kind of because we didn't take a check or any money from Caffeine and Kilos for over a year. When we first started, money was coming in, but we were just trying to grow this thing, so like every single cent was going to roll back in.
Right.
And then after that, then I went to a part-time teaching job, and we took very little money for like another year. And then after that, it was like, okay, this is just
we gotta do this.
Yeah, I was working from 5 a.m. until 7 a.m. and then I would take I had a kid at the same time too. Take the kid
that matters.
My in-laws, and then go to school and teach all day. And then after school, I'd go and coach one class in my gym, and then come home, eat dinner, and then work until 10 or 11 at night, and do that every day. And that it's not sustainable.
No.
At least if you want to, know your children and stay married.
Yeah, minor details.
Yeah.
So overrated, totally.
That's when I quit teaching, just because, only so much time.
At least you didn't quit like the kid.
Yeah.
Well, you have an S jet, Nikki,
to be fair.
Yeah.
It's totally true. It was like teaching or get out on his own already.
Yeah, well, straws. Teaching got the short straw when I pulled him out. Yeah.
Hey, I want to hear about this event a little bit because I haven't gotten an invite. So I assume
Mhm.
you don't have a grouping for masters men that lift the women's RX. I'm assuming.
Well,
Best new category.
maybe this year, new category. So we the first year it was just the weightlifting was invitation only. So the only people that lifted were, my goal was, and I was competing at the national level at the time in weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting. And so I said, well, I want to do this. I want to make a meet that I'm not good enough to qualify for. Like, I only want people here. And I was getting like top 5 or so in the nation. Like, I got 5th at American Open, 7th at nationals, that type of thing. So like, I only want people here that are like better than me. Otherwise, who really wants to come watch anyway, right? And so that was it. That session was only invite people, and so people flew from all over because everyone got paid a little bit. If you won, you got paid a lot more, and that type of thing. But then since then, now when we do it, we have a local meet that goes all day. So we get kids, we get masters athletes, we get anybody that wants it and come out, and we get about 100 weightlifters just from the local community that do that throughout the day. And then there's still the invite session at the end of the day.
Awesome.
And then on the fitness side of things, the CrossFit style competition, we do a team event. It's just so much easier to organize team events. And we have RX and scale divisions. And they're co-ed teams. So
Co-ed teams of 2?
Co-ed teams of 4.
4. Got it.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of people? I mean, when you say it's an all-day community event, do you get a lot of people who just live nearby and want a chance to hit the platform for the first time? Or do people come and travel for this too? Because now they know.
Travel for it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also a powerlifting part now. So it's like
awesome.
a deadlift only, a pull only meet. And the idea with that is, there's some guy who trains at a CrossFit gym and is just a deadlift monster, but, probably doesn't bench or know how to squat out of a monolift or anything like that. Right. And so we just do a pull only deadlift meet and then the CrossFit and the weightlifting. So yeah, we get teams that travel, not real far, but we do get teams that travel to come in and do it because it's fun. It's a fun community event. And I think people like being a part of it, with it being the Caffeine and Kilos Invitational, kind of the brand brings some people out as well.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. We end up getting like 400 or 500 athletes.
Yeah.
Between the 3 different sports out there.
Where do you guys hold this?
Sacramento.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Always a good excuse to get out to California.
Always a good excuse to come out. Yeah.
I said as I had my ear warmers.
Yeah. And then, we have a pro MC out there. We have Logan comes out and MCs for us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
she'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, tell her I said what's up.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So we leave for Norway on Tuesday night, and I was just recognizing the other day that I think I might have already said this on the podcast, but I always travel solo to sanctionals and, RIP regionals and games and stuff. Yeah. The fact we're traveling to Europe together tomorrow is lighting up my life.
And she's so excited. So you'll be great.
The other half of my girlfriend's soul. Totally. Yeah.
So Danny, you said you wanted to create an event that you couldn't qualify for, but you're a hell of a lifter, man. You won the World Cup, right?
Well,
Masters World Cup?
Masters World Cup, and that's like a little different.
It's not that different.
Well, okay. So the goal was, and at the time I was lifting for California Strength, and so that's lift for Cal Strength. They've always had really good teams, really popular. And when I first started lifting for them, there was 2 current national champs on the team. There's American record holders on the team, and so then you get. You get pretty good because you're in that training environment. It's like, well, if they can do it, why can't I, right? And if everybody's lifting big weight, then it's just expected, right? And you feel that. You're like, okay, well, all these other people are doing this. This is kind of what's expected. And so then also in the team, lifting for California Strength is a special experience. You almost get a little bit of a college athlete or pro athlete vibe. They pay for all your travel, everything. You just get, a week before the meet, you get an email that has your travel arrangements and hotel and everything all squared away. And so you just got to go
big time shit right there.
Show up and lift. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a fun experience, but then also you got to put out because they're knowing they're doing that, you want to score team points. If you go and if you don't do well enough to get team points and you feel like a piece of shit, they pay all your travel and you didn't do anything for them. So that being my background, my various, if you even want to call them accomplishments in weightlifting, it's not, look, I'm friends with Olympians, you know? And so like you put that in perspective, right? So like, and then still we sponsor some weightlifters, and we sponsor Morgan King, who was a 2016 Olympian. She got 6th in the Olympics, right? We
She is
sponsor,
badass.
she's incredible.
Yeah.
And then Wes Kitts, who's the most likely candidate from the US to go to the Olympics at this point. And Harrison Morris, who's, you know, same thing. He's in the top 5 men to go to the Olympics right now. So anyway, I think of that, and I think of people who win national championships, even US national championships in the senior division. And that, to me anyway, is much more impressive than a Masters weightlifting meet, even if it is the World Cup.
I don't know. It seems pretty impressive to me, considering
And I get super excited about 135-pound snatch. So,
yeah, it is fun. That was like a kind of a weight off my shoulders. Like I had these goals when I started weightlifting that I wanted to, you know, like place first, just like qualify for nationals, place top 10, and then medal, you know, and these different things. And I did everything. I like qualified, I placed top 10, I placed top 5 at a national meet, but I never medaled at a national meet. And then I thought I was done weightlifting, but Masters start at 35 years old. I just turned 35 last year in August. And so one of my friends who does these Masters meets just hits me up, says, "Hey man, Masters World Cup's in San Diego. Like that's so close. You should go lift in it." I was like, "Dude, I haven't like trained weightlifting. I've been doing CrossFit 3 times a week for the last 4 years. Like my body feels really good. Like I don't know if I want to do that." But it's so close. So, all right, fuck it. Well, it's right there. I can fly down and lift and fly back the next night. And I can still go to my daughter's soccer game on Saturday, and I could still be home Sunday night and everything, you know? And so anyway, so I trained for whatever, like 8 weeks, did a local meet to get a qualifying total, did another 12 weeks of training with San Diego, and ended up winning the meet. So it was a lot of fun. I kind of got that monkey off my back. Like, okay, now I feel like I didn't medal at a national championship, but I feel like that World Cup kind of takes that place. So it's kind of check the last box of accomplishments in weightlifting that I was chasing, you know?
Totally.
You know,
that counts.
I also have never medaled before I was 35. So we're basically twins. Basically.
You guys are basically the same.
I know, right?
Yeah. I don't even know who I'm talking to on what screen.
I know, it's ridiculous. What do you like better, competing / weightlifting, or running your affiliate, your gym?
Oh God, they're so different. I would say it's the overall experience of running a gym and running an affiliate is beyond words. So maybe that's why I'm struggling to describe it. So we've been open since 2008, and you know how it is in CrossFit gyms is you get almost like, what's the term I'm looking for? The results don't seem as impressive because you see it all the time, right?
Yeah, we're like jaded to like how awesome it is.
Yeah. So like
what we're doing
every year we get, I don't know, probably one or two people that lose 100 pounds, like 80 to 100 pounds. That happens every year. And then last year we had 3 people lose like over 80 pounds that I know of for sure. Yeah. And then we get maybe 6 or so people that lose like 40 to 60, you know? And then like everybody who joins the gym loses 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah,
like it's a given. Right. Like you just fuck around and show up a couple days a week and you're going to accidentally lose like 20, 30 pounds. So you get jaded to that. It's just what's expected. You see it all the time. But then every now and then, you know, you get an email from somebody or, you know, who actually opens up and kind of tells you different things and about how it's changed their life. And then you go, oh man, like kind of just puts in perspective what you're actually doing and what's actually happening and is happening at that facility. And if they hadn't have found that gym, maybe it wouldn't have happened, you know? I'm talking like a lady who went through a divorce like 10 years ago, but had young kids at the time. And so she was worried about that whole situation. And then now, you know, and she was always really active, but then she gains not a ton of weight, but like 20, 30 pounds. She comes in the gym thinking she's too old to do it because she's, you know, whatever, 50, not even that old. But then she ends up losing like 30 pounds over the 8 months. She like loses all that weight and gains all this confidence, which she hasn't had in 10 years since her husband left her, you know? Damn. And like that type of thing where she's like, I feel like myself again for the first time since I was in my 30s, you know? And it's like that type of thing like gives me the chills. Like right now, actually, it's got a little bit of chills from like thinking about reading through that, you know? So that like, you can't put anything against that as far as like what's more fun or better experience as being able to help people to that degree, you know?
Yeah, totally. I am far away from the mic because there's a spider on the table. Can you please help me?
Oh, sweet
Holy
baby
shit.
Jesus.
It's crawling up the thing.
We're just going to let this happen. Let's just let it.
Crawling up the...
Just use your hand.
No.
Just do this.
It's running over there.
It'll be probably a really little. No, I got the tissue out. The tissue in the background.
This is. Oh, sweet mother of God. See, we have this thing on the show, Danny, where Nikki likes to leave her notifications on, and it took me like 10 episodes with her to teach her how to turn them off, and now she's learned. So now I guess the spider's like the new notification thing. I don't know.
Probably.
I had to text my husband to come into the room.
Why didn't you just do this? And just like squish it with your hand.
Listen, when you're afraid of bugs, the scariest thing is getting close enough to them to kill them.
I'm literally just gonna edit this part. This is gonna be the only thing I post. It's just the spider. We'll call it the spider episode. Yeah. That's it.
Oh my God. The spider incident of 2020. I had a great spider incident of 2019.
Oh, really?
Oh, sweet mother of God.
Yes, I did. Where it like scarred me for life. I'm like PTSD'd from it.
Oh man,
you're so ridiculous. So I'm with you. I'm gonna get back to the story. So I'm with you, Danny. Like I get geeked out by people losing weight.
Oh
and the change. Like I just posted a photo. My mom sent me a photo a little while ago. My dad started CrossFit, and he's 75. Mom's 74, and they both in 6 months they've lost like over 40 pounds. Both of them.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Well, dude, it's like, no, it's crazy, but it's not like it is because what they used to be was normal. It was their previous normal. Right. And so like, this is such a change, but then you put in perspective and it's like, well, yeah, that's what happens to people when they do CrossFit 3 or 4 days a week or 2 to 3 days a week, even, like that's shit. My mom actually just started a couple months ago and
so cool.
is like, just absolutely loving it. The other day, my mom, she just started, she's doing like personal sessions right now, PTs with one of our trainers, but then my daughter's doing the kids and then my wife was doing a class. And so there's like 3 generations of Lehr women, like all in the gym at the same time. Like my daughter did the teens the same time my wife did the adult class, or not the teens, she's 7. My daughter did the kids the same time my wife did the adults class. And then my mom came in and did her personal training session because she just started again like a month or 2 ago. Like right after that. And so they're all down there at the same time. And anyway, that's really cool. I
love that. I love that.
Yeah. It's amazing.
My favorite thing is when I see a shift in their mentality and they start using the gym for more than whatever their initial like body composition goal was. If it was to lose weight or, to gain muscle or do whatever their goals were. When I start seeing them using the gym as an hour that acts as like their social hour because they've made a lot of friends and that's meaningful to them, or when I see them using that to relieve other stress in their life, or maybe they're turning to that and they used to turn to emotional eating. I'm raising my hand. That's what I do. Or they used to turn to drinking, or they used to turn to whatever it is, whatever the gym's providing them that is now like a mental shift and is now a positive in a way that they weren't necessarily expecting. That's my favorite when I see that turnover start to happen.
Well, it's cool too. It's like instant friends, so there's this couple that moved out from the other side of the country. They're actually like out in Massachusetts, whatever. And the guy works for the government and he got a job out here, and they come out and then like now within a month or 2, they have like a whole group of friends. Like they're out, you see them on like Friday night, they're out to dinner with this these 3 other couples from the gym. And it's just like instant community, instant friends moving out somewhere. And that's really cool to see too. Someone joins the gym and they don't really know anybody. And then like fast forward 4 months and, you're on Instagram, whatever. And like on their story, you see they're out at fucking Buffalo Wild Wings with only other people from the gym. You know? And
totally.
You're like, oh man, that's great.
That's awesome.
Positive influence and positive lifestyle and all that,
Dude,
so,
sorry,
go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say, I went home to visit my parents over Christmas, and I went to the gym with my dad, and he's like the mayor of CrossFit now.
Aww.
He has all these friends. Like no one gave a shit who I was. So it's just like no one. Like I walk in there, they're like, all right, there's Roy's son, and I'm like, what? Like I introduced him to the sport. Like I'm kind of a big deal, people. They're like, nope.
No.
We love your dad.
Man, that's something I don't think I've ever said those words.
Oh,
I'm kind of a big deal.
So humbling. So humbling.
I will have you know that the affiliate that we're at right now just celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and we had a little party.
Yeah.
And the owner gave out tiny trophies
Uh-huh.
to people, like superlative style awards. My husband legitimately won mayor of CrossFit.
Oh, that's great.
Has it written on a trophy. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
So talking about CrossFit parties, that's the best thing too, is like we have the best parties. Like we had a 10-year anniversary party, and we rented out this mansion in this town by us. There's this old 1800s mansion, and they gave tours in their area appropriate wardrobe. Anyway, that was super cool. And then every year we have a Christmas party that is just people just know, nobody drives to this thing.
Yeah, no, of course.
Just gets rides.
Of course.
And it always has a fiesta theme. Because I think 1 year we bought Fiesta themed decorations, and so now we have them. So every year it's a Fiesta theme. Okay. We do a piñata. We do a giant piñata, and we fill it though with airplane sized booze bottles.
Amazing.
And different things like that. Shoelaces and wrist wraps, and then there's a free month, in there. And then we line them up in height order, just because I don't know how else you do piñatas, and we blindfold them. And
it's amazing.
Anyway, yeah.
CrossFit parties are the best. And the best part is the age range.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite, drinking or hanging out or partying or not, even if it's just a potluck or something at the gym, chilling with people who are my age, younger, because now I feel like I'm old, but also some of our, you were talking about your parents, some of our parents and our friends' parents also come to the gym, and their parents are way cooler than they are.
One of my, in my gym, one of my old business partners, he's not in the gym anymore, but anyway, his grandma, she's 86, something like that. Anyway, she still goes to the gym. She's in there 3 days a week, doesn't miss,
Love it.
Does she wear this? Does she wear the snatch shirt?
She should.
It doesn't say my grandma though. It just
say mine.
Yeah. My cookies and my
If
snatch.
you like my cookies, you should see my snatch. That'd be great.
I think that we just came up with your next t-shirt run.
Yeah. Well, run it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a niche market for sure.
It's a niche market. Yeah. But I mean, you put it on Amazon, I'm sure you get enough.
Hey, someone's going to buy it.
Grandmas who want to show off their snatch.
I'm going to buy one for my grandmother who knows nothing of CrossFit and is super religious, just to see the look on her face at Christmas. It's going to be great.
Yes. She probably wouldn't get it at all.
I know.
She would wear it though.
What's a snatch? Thanks for the shirt.
John got me this. He's such a sweet boy.
Wear it to her bridge tournaments and stuff.
Oh, okay. So Danny, you've considering how far you've come in the sport and in weightlifting and all sort of CrossFit adjacent worlds as well. Are you still a fan? I know you're not competing anymore, but are you still a fan of the competition? Are you following now that we're in the sanctionals world and what's going to happen with games? Is that something that you still pay attention to?
Kind of.
So
what I mean by kind of is, I have a bunch of friends who are doing it, so it's fun to watch your friends do stuff. And we have Caffeine and Kilos sponsors some athletes, and that helps. But honestly, everybody we sponsor they were friends of mine before we sponsored them, type thing.
Yeah.
And so when Noah Olson or Kerry Pierce does really well, that's really exciting, partially because there's this relationship with Caffeine and Kilos, but also I was friends with both of those people before Caffeine and Kilos sponsored them or whatever, right?
Cool.
And so that's part of just being in the sport since 2008. And, over time, you just meet people and kind of see people as they're coming up. And then with Caffeine and Kilos being at different things, you meet people in different things. But so I like that. I like watching people I know do well. I really like watching actually people just at the gym on a Wednesday afternoon at 4:00 in a death by thrusters workout or something like that.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun to watch. But to be totally honest, when it comes a random heat at a random sanctional, I don't really care too much. And I'm not saying that it's not exciting or that no one should care. It's look, I've been watching people do CrossFit for 12 years,
Yeah.
And there are some things about it that are really exciting and fun to watch and all that. But if there are people who I don't have any personal relationship with and it's just kind of a workout at this, then it's I don't really know. But if there's something on the line, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't care or don't like watching CrossFit. That's definitely not true. But I'm not like into it as far as like, look, like I could never sit there with Armin and Justin and break down like what athlete is going to place 34th at the CrossFit Games. Like there's zero chance I could do that,
I can't do that with Armin either though, but it's only because I'm so attracted to his mullet, It's
so distracting.
It is.
He's got good hair.
Yeah. He really does.
I spent a lot. You think that's distracting? Wait till he takes his shirt off.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, he's got these big old pepperoni nipples he likes to show off sometimes.
Hey.
So hot, so hot.
Mm-hmm. I hear that's like the new trending. It's like dad bods and pepperoni nipples.
Yeah. Put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Dad bods and pepperoni nipples.
One can only hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
technically, you'd need 2 logos. Technically,
that's right.
But it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. You could do like a art style with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I hear what you're saying, John. You're kind of like that too, right? In terms of like watching competition.
Yeah, Nikki and I talked about this the other day. As much as I follow CrossFit, I don't love to watch the competitions. Like I like to see the people best at what they do. Like I really enjoyed at the games last year when they were doing the lift off and Amanda Barnhart and Tia were going head to head. Like that was really exciting and fun. They're best in their sport, super strong. Like that was fun. I could care less about the random teams that you've never heard of or even, watching the national champions or whoever. Like I want to see the best of the best for a short period of time. Then I'm kind of done,
It's the final heat or the last 2 heats, of a workout. I can kind of get into that because there's something on the line and maybe somebody comes back from behind within that heat and that type of stuff is great. I like competitions in general. But I'm kind of with you there.
Well, at least you have a couple friends / athletes that are on your team, on the Caffeine and Kilos team, that have real shot at getting to the podium.
Oh, I mean, Haley Adams.
Yeah. Also,
between Haley, Kerry, China Cho going on the Mayhem team, that's pretty promising.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And Noah, what a friggin' year he had last year. And
great.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what he can accomplish this season.
So you're far too humble, Danny. Like you keep doing this to us. You're like, oh, they're just some of my friends. And then she lists off the name of people. And these are all the top athletes in the sport. Like Kerry Pierce is a monster. Like I love her. And Noah, has as good a shot as anybody to win the games,
Well, these are the nicest people I've ever met.
Yes.
Like that's the catch is like Noah is genuinely a good guy. Noah's one of those, Noah's so nice. People think it's fake.
I know.
Like sometimes people give him shit thinking that he's faking it, but it's like, nah, man, like we knew him and like started supporting him before he made it to the games.
Dude,
right?
For the first 3 or 4 years that I knew him and loved him and thought he was incredible, I was dealing with probably like 80 or 90% of people who had ever heard of him being like, isn't he kind of an arrogant prick? And I'm like, where did you even get that?
It's like nowhere. And because he's so nice, they think it's fake. They think he's like faking being nice. It's like, no, he's just actually that nice. And it's anyway, and Kerry Pierce is the same way.
Yes.
She is just the nicest, and talk about humble. She was like, whatever, all-American gymnast at Michigan, like big time D1 school, winning the Big Ten championships 4 years in a row, all this type of thing. And then she did like some Olympic weightlifting, and then she competed in some powerlifting and like did all these things separately before she did CrossFit. So it makes sense that she's good at CrossFit, right? But she doesn't really talk about those things unless you ask her about them. Whatever.
Oh yeah, I know. And my first time interviewing her at regionals ever, when she was winning events, and we had spent a lot of time together because whenever an athlete wins an event, I do an interview. I kept being like, and I'm sorry, you've been doing this for how long? And it was like 7 months,
right?
Or something less than. It was insane. It was like most people don't even know how to like. I don't even know what at that point, like do a kip, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then she sends stuff to her mom, like she's at the games, we have a booth out there, and she like brings her mom by so we can meet her mom, the whole thing. And like, she's just like, she's like, I really want you to meet my mom. I'm like, I would love to meet your mom, bring her by, so she comes by with her family, And like, that's the whole thing too. Like a lot of people wouldn't do that, especially in the middle of a competition. That's kind of important, right? Like go out of your way so that she like bring her just so we could meet her parents.
I love
Let me
that.
tell you how nice Kerry Pierce is. So she was one of the first interviews I did for the podcast. Now this is pre-Nikki, so it's PN, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
it was like, I think it was episode 5. And I had this wild idea. She invited me. She was in Columbus and she invited me to her hotel. So I'm like, I'm a little like nervous to begin with because now I'm in this woman's hotel room that I don't know, and it's the Me Too movement. So I'm like, just worried.
You were afraid she was going to harass you.
Yeah, well, I just say a lot of dumb shit, and so I had this wild idea that I'm going to quote rap lyrics to her and make her fill in the blanks just to see how she takes it.
Oh, she'd be game.
Yeah, well, she was. I'm like, and so I read this Childish Gambino lyric to her, and I did it in this like. I like overemphasized how white I am. Like I'm the whitest guy on the planet, but I overemphasized it. And so the lyric was, watching haters wonder why Gambino got the game locked. Half tie thicky. All she want to do is blank. And she stumbled and stumbled. And the word is Bangkok. All she wanted to do is Bangkok, And so when I gave her the word, like I was so nervous because it's a double entendre. And I'm like, I gave her the word and the look on her face was worth $1 billion. She just laughed her ass off. She was so nice. And the only part we argued about was, she's from Michigan and I'm from Ohio. So we had to argue about Ohio State.
Of course.
But otherwise she was brilliant and super funny and so nice. I just love her to death. She's the best.
Yeah, she's absolutely incredible. Yeah. So it's fun. So then when she does well, that's nice also because you can really root for him. Not again, it's not just because it's this person who there's some sort of a like potential gain from like, oh, she's a Caffeine and Kilos athlete and she's doing well. But it's not even that. I don't even really half the time I don't even think of it in that term at all. I'm just thinking like, man, I'm really glad Kerry's doing well because I just want her to do well. And then I'm like, oh, I guess it'd be good for Caffeine and Kilos too, Cool. But really I want her to do well,
So we're kind of winding down a little, but I want to hear about your podcast.
Like we're just getting started.
Well, I want to hear about your podcast. Like, so as I was looking back over your accomplishments, not only have you got this great business, you got this great gym and you're a great lifter, but now you got a podcast too. Why do you got to do it all, man? Like,
come on, man.
Don't take my gig. Come on.
Well, so the podcast is called Gas Station Cappuccino. And so it's just with Caffeine and Kilos. So it's myself and then Dean, who's my business partner in Caffeine and Kilos. And it's very similar to this format. Like there's sometimes some topics, sometimes.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing either. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, hey, what's going on? Yeah. And so we just talk about sometimes things that are recent or going on in CrossFit or weightlifting or powerlifting or just kind of what's going on, or what's
Do you guys ever talk about like coffee specifically?
We talk about coffee sometimes. Absolutely. Yeah. And so especially like right now, something is really cool for Caffeine and Kilos. We have a coffee of the month and that's been like a huge hit because people like trying different blends. And so every month you get a different blend. And so you get some lighter roasts and medium roasts and different stuff and different origins. You get coffees from all over the world. And then it allows us to do some cool things. Like last month, January's blend was called Reina do Rio, which means the Queen of Rio. And so it's a Brazilian coffee that's from this micro lot that's like grown, cultivated, harvested by women only. And they get paid like 80% more or 50% more than the local standard type thing.
Damn.
And so it's really cool, but that's not like a blend we have all the time. Okay. But like it's a great opportunity for us. We can do things like have that 1 month and like do that and support that and that type of thing. So the coffee of the month is really cool because we can get different blends around the world and support kind of different things we believe in.
Nice.
So we talk about that a lot. We talk about like what next month's coffee of the month is or different things. Or if we've been to the roasters, the roaster we use is right in Sacramento, just down the street. And we've been with him or he's been with us, however you want to say that, ever since 2013 when we started. So we spent a lot of time over there doing different coffee tastings and cuppings.
So you're speaking Nikki's love language because she's the most basic of white girls. The most basic.
Yeah. Well, that's very true. Number one, but number two, also, I think that coffee just like runs through my veins. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Oh, that's good. So good.
And also, I just want to say that you guys over at Caffeine and Kilos, speaking of coffee, it just reminded me. I just think it's so cool. You guys have always been sort of like first first to step up to the plate in terms of supporting like local events outside of just what you do. And I think of all the tiny bags of coffee that you've sent my way. And I've throughout the many years of coaching, now almost 9 years, I have run marketing and event programs for a lot of different gyms that I've been a part of. And that means hosting events. And anytime we're looking for brand sponsorship and we reach out to you guys, you know, do you want to send prizes? Do you want to help us out? You are the first company every single time to be like, absolutely. Here's what we can send. Here's some bags of coffee. Here's some like coffee infused bars and things like that.
Gift cards. Yeah.
Throughout the years, man, you guys have always been first. And I think of those little bags of coffee that we always give out, and people are amped to get them always. So thank you also for, you know, not only supporting, you know, local roasters and finding cool places to get it from and having a chance to talk about that, but also to be first to give that to the community as well. I think that's really cool, you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of what it's all about, right? Like, I know what it's like hosting competitions and local competitions and trying to do things, and people want prizes, right? So, and want to help out. So if that's something we could do to help out, and that's great. And like lately we actually mostly send out gift cards, but it's like, okay, cool. Like everybody at the podiums gets, even if it is $5, whatever, it's like $5 towards anything you want. Like,
hell yeah.
Maybe you don't drink coffee. You can buy some shoelaces, whatever, you know? So yeah, that's something we like really feel strongly about and really try to do, is just support everything. So pretty much, you know, if someone reaches out with a local competition, we will send some prizing to them of some sort, you know?
That's always so cool.
So
it's hard to find support on the local level. Yeah. And like these gyms are just trying to, like, ain't nobody hosting a competition to get rich. You know what I mean? Like these gyms are just trying to find a way to make their members feel special, bring the community together. Like, you know, and it's pricey to host, and it, you know, no one wants to pay for a comp anymore either. So the fact that there's any well-known brand willing to help out is always really helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun. It's one of those things sometimes where it's like, well, I like doing it. Like we think it's important. We like doing it. So if you're not going to do or the things that you want to do that you think are helpful, then like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know,
that's amazing. So, so what's next for you guys? I mean, at this point you've done it all, so you could just retire, but since you're not going to, obviously.
Man, you know what's funny is next? I feel like I haven't done shit. Like I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. You know, like I feel like there's so much more that I need to do. Like I don't know.
What's your hot button? Like, yeah, what's your hot button then? Like, what are you really kind of dying to do next?
Oh God, personally, I don't know the answer to that. I just know that there's, God, this, I don't know, sounds corny, but like, honestly, I just want to help people. Like, I just want to do more. I feel like, I don't know. I just want to make a bigger impact, you know?
Well, I suspect you're going to, and for that very reason, because it's almost always the people that simply want to do that without an agenda attached to it that end up doing that.
And I don't know exactly what that looks like, but there'll be something. You just kind of take things, like, honestly, like I always knew I wanted to do some sort of business thing, whatever. Right. And then an opportunity with the gym came up, like my gym, another guy founded it, but it had only been open a month or two, and he needed some help and that type of thing. And that's kind of when anyway, like opportunities present themselves. Right. Same thing with Caffeine and Kilos. Like it was just going to be an event, and then it turned into this company where we sponsor athletes and we send out prize packs, and our whole goal is we just want to promote a healthy, active lifestyle by selling coffee and apparel that makes you like feel great and look amazing. Right. Like that's the whole point, you know, like you want people to feel good when they're wearing it and feel proud and represent that lifestyle, you know, spread the message of fitness. And so,
I like that. I would like to be caffeinated and look great while doing it.
Who doesn't, right?
Perfect.
And so that's the whole point is like, it's just, that's exactly it. But it's just, I don't know, opportunities come up. And so just as they do, you just got to take advantage of them and see where they go. And some things pan out and some things don't, or some things are going fine, but then something else is going, you know, every time you said yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Right. So you got to kind of pick where you want to put your time and energy. And I don't know what would make me feel like I've done something, but at some point it'll happen.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what I've learned today. I've learned that Arm & Hammer has pepperoni nipples.
Nice
most important.
Nice looking ones. And I've learned that I'm going to start producing my grandma's snatch t-shirts. So
you should. Yeah. If you need help
very
with that,
productive, very productive podcast for me.
So glad we did this today, boys.
Uh-huh.
So glad.
Yeah.
And I learned Nikki will probably burn down her house if there's ever another spider in it.
Oh my God, it's a problem.
I know. And she needs to turn on her heater. She still has those ear warmers on.
I swear to God, she's dressed like it's like 5 below in the house.
Listen, we keep upstairs cold because you need it for good sleeping.
Okay. That's what they say. You don't use a chili pad?
A what?
A chili pad?
What's that?
You don't know what a chili pad is?
No.
I don't use one either. But so a chili pad, I think that's what they're called. Anyway, that's like you put it, it's like the opposite of a heated blanket. So instead of warming on top of you, it's cool and you lay on top of it. It's like underneath, like you put it under your sheets, like under your fitted sheets, and it like keeps it a little bit cooler. Not so you're like shivering, but just so it's like a temperature where you sleep better at.
No, we're like completely like ass backwards, and I don't know why. It's like freezing up here, but we have fleece sheets on the bed, and
I go fleece sheets.
Yeah, and like a heavy ass comforter.
Yeah.
So it's like 60 degrees up here, but we need to like bundle like Eskimos. My husband is like a furnace in the middle of the night anyway.
Yeah, there you go. Built-in heater.
I've learned way too much about Nikki's sleeping habits now. So
highly recommend. Keep it cold.
Highly recommend. Well, Danny, this has been great, man. I appreciate you coming on. For everyone listening, you guys, number one, need to go out to Caffeine and Kilos and buy a bunch of stuff. They don't have the grandma snatch shirts, but they got a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, true.
A lot of great coffee. And your podcast. Go listen to the podcast.
Yeah, listen to Gas Station Cappuccino and go check out caffeineandkilos.com.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, again, thank you for being on. For everyone listening, Nikki and I thank you. Nikki's about to head out to Norway and cover the Norwegian CrossFit Championship, and I'm headed to Wadapalooza here shortly. So got some exciting stuff coming up.
Norway, that region drinks more coffee than anywhere else in the world.
Oh, good. And about to be double when I set foot there on
when
Wednesday.
you and Logan show up.
Yeah, totally.
So Nikki's in heaven. So that's great.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being on. For everyone listening, we appreciate you tuning in, and we will talk to you all soon.